Any young man who makes dowry a condition to marriage discredits his education, his country, and dishonors womanhood. Today, I want to talk about something which concerns me so much, and I think it's not just me but a lot of us are concerned about. The word dowry. We have heard a lot of times, in fact a little too much, that it has become a cliche to us. Hi everyone, this is H ASAZIIA KRICHENA and you're watching Legal Bites. We hear a lot about dowry and even hate it so much, realizing its evil impact on us. But sadly, we have left the thought of change just as a thought and have never really allowed the thought to germinate and let it grow to make real change. As I moved to Delhi for my studies, I noticed a lot of things that intrigued me to the core. One of such is the term dowry. Marriage in North India, as we all know, is extravagant and is one of the most expensive affairs for a family. I'm not against anything about the celebration. In fact, I enjoy the food, the warmth of the people, the clothes that all guests clothe themselves with. It is really a very interesting celebration to attend, honestly. But let me first talk about the place that I come from. I come from a very small village in the state of Manipur. There, most of us follow Christianity. My village, though small and backward in the thoughts of many, I'm very proud of it. This is because of many reasons, but today, as we discuss things related to marriage and dowry alone, let us delve straight to this point. In my place, whenever there is a marriage that has to take place, both families come and meet not to negotiate on how much money and property the bride-to-be is to bring to the groom's family, but we sit to seek blessings to bestow upon the two individuals who are getting married. We sit to hear from families and friends from both the families on how the bride and the groom-to-be grew up, so that the two individuals as well as the two families who are going to be united as a family through the marriage get to know each other better and share the food that the family prepared depending on which family hosted the meeting. The thought of what we should expect the bride to bring on her marriage never really comes up in any of the minds of the family. As the marriage approaches, there is no concept of hiring a catering team, an event planning team, or even renting a banquet hall. The church members, the youths especially, come together, plan out on how the wedding should be done, starting on the decorations to food. They would just sit together, practice a song that they would present for the couple on the wedding day. While I talk about all these things, I also understand that it is not possible to have the same way marriages take place in my village. All I want to convey is that we can make things simpler and more beautiful. The famous man Confucius once said, "Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated." When I look at the marriages here from an outsider's perspective, I find the marriages shocking and too complex. The even more shocking thing is that the bride is being price tagged. Dear parents, aren't you all sad that your daughter's worth have been measured on how she looks and what profession she does? Are we not at that stage yet to realize the meaninglessness of our actions while we talk about progress and moving forward with all our understanding and might? Today, let us again understand and analyze the evil impact that has sprouted from the word dowry. The first can be financial burden on the bride's family. The pressure to pay dowry makes the bride's family to go to great lengths to raise funds. This can put them in a state of financial crisis, and they may be forced to take on debt, sell their property, or even resort to illegal means to raise the money. The second can be gender discrimination. Dowry perpetuates the idea that women are a burden on the families and forces gender inequality. It also leads to the objectification of women who are seen as commodities to be bought and sold. The third can be violence against women. When the groom's family demands more dowry than the bride's family can afford, this can lead to physical and emotional abuse of the bride and even murder. Today we know it as dowry deaths. The fourth can be restricted access to education and employment. The practice of dowry encourages families to prioritize marriage for their daughters over education and career opportunities. This again leads to perpetuation of gender inequality, with women having limited access to opportunities and economic empowerment. With all these points, we come to know what evil things have crept in the society because of the practice of dowry. While many say it's an age-long practice, don't you think it's high time for us to take a step back for once and for all to think rationally and correct ourselves? Don't you think we should not let a girl child be tagged as a burden for a family? I personally urge everyone today to think for a while and be a little humane and a little peacemaker. The practice of dowry is governed by the legislation called the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. In this legislation, it is clearly given in Section 3(1) that if any person after the commencement of this act gives or takes or abets the giving or taking of dowry, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 5 years, and with fine which shall not be less than 15,000 rupees or the amount of the value of such dowry, whichever is more. Also in Section 4 it says, if any person demands directly or indirectly from the parents or other relatives or guardian of a bride or bridegroom, as the case may be, any dowry, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend to 2 years, and with fine which may extend to 10,000 rupees. Section 304B of Indian Penal Code, it says, where the death of a woman is caused by any burns or bodily injury or occurs otherwise than under normal circumstances within 7 years of her marriage, and it is shown that soon before her death she was subjected to cruelty or harassment by her husband or any relative or of her husband for or in connection with any demand for dowry, such death shall be called dowry death, and such husband or relatives shall be deemed to have caused her death. Dowry is like the epicenter of an earthquake. The actual cause, although hidden, leaves destruction and chaos on the surface. Dowry also in the same sense doesn't show as much of destructive value other than affecting lives of the bride and the family, but its destructive effect is much more widespread than we ever realize. The reason dowry is called social evil is that its negative effects far outweigh the so-called benefits. If that is the case, how come the practice of dowry is so prevalent in most parts of northern India? Is society immune to its effects, or has it gone numb towards the issue? The increasing legislative measures against dowry show political will to eradicate this social evil. Political will is nothing but the summation of social will. Then how come the practice has become an essential part of the marriage? It is necessary to examine this dichotomy existing in our society, where on one hand, dowry is vehemently opposed by all at every level, and on the other hand, most families give dowry when they marry their daughters. Eradicating social evils is challenging for the reason that every measure will be proven ineffective unless social opinion towards things changes altogether. Let us all stand for no dowry today. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to Legal Bites today.